The Fuzzy Select tool is another selection tool in GIMP that allows you to make selections based on the image. You use it simply by clicking on a portion of the image, and it will select everything that is considered to be the same color that is within a contiguous area. So even though this blue here is very similar to this blue, these pixels won't be selected because they are not touching. It's got a few options. Like the other selection tools. The normal mode allows you to make one selection at a time, and it abandons the previous selections. The additive mode allows you to continue adding to your selection with each click. The subtractive mode will take away as you select, and the overlap mode will retain only that which overlaps what is already selected with your new click. Then we've got anti-aliasing. This helps smooth out curves. It's a good idea to keep this checked. Feather edges, which allows you to get softer edges. So if we click here and we fill it in, you'll get a nice soft edge. Or we can click up here and fill it in. Shows it a little bit better. A nice soft edge there instead of the hard edge that you get on this rectangle here. And then we've got the select transparent areas. If this is not selected, it doesn't consider transparent areas to be something that is selectable, but when it's selected, you can select transparent areas. This is good if you have an object that is cut out and it's on a transparent area and you want to select everything around it. Then we've got sample merged. This allows you to select colors across multiple layers. So if I turn on a second layer here, with this blue square. Now we have this blue touching up against this blue. With the sample merge turned off, when I make my selection, it will only select the active layer. But with this turned on, if I make my selection, it will select everything that is visible. Finally, the threshold, which is probably the most important option, this allows you to set the tolerance level for what is considered the same color. So right now you're at sort of a lower end value, and we make a selection, you'll see it selects this much. It considers all of these areas of blue to be the same value. If I were to turn it way up and make the selection, you'll see it now includes a lot more range of color in the selection. So that's fun to play with. And finally, the select by. Now, the composite setting, which is the default, is probably going to be the most intuitive. It's going to take all the characteristics of the color into consideration when determining if they are the same or different. But you can set it to more specific settings if you'd like. There's red, green, blue. Now, this is using the red, green, blue channels separately, so you can get some interesting results. For example, if we were to set it to green, and we were to select here on this blue, it'll select all of this, even though this red band here in the middle, kind of purpley red band here in the middle, looks very different to me. But because the green values are the same, it considers it the same. If we were to make that same selection using the blue, you'll see it only selects the blue. Again, hue, saturation, value, you can play around with all of these. Sometimes you get some interesting results. For example, with saturation, this purple and yellow block look very different, but they're actually the same saturation level, so they're considered the same when you're making the selection. Like I said, composite will probably be the most intuitive to use, but you can play around with those. It's kind of fun. That is the Fuzzy Select tool.